always remember I was sitting one day at the terrace of the Hotel Monaco in Venice, and suddenly I see in the far distance this enormous lobster that starts appearing, and I was stunned. And so the lobster conquered Venice, it conquered Gstaad, many cities in Italy, in Asia. And I think this lobster man, this lobster figure that Philippe has created, and he is a lobster himself, of course, has taken over the world by storm. And so, long life to the lobster.
And who is this lobster exactly? Part man, part crustacean, this lobster is pop artist Philippe Colbert's alter ego, and he's painting the world red. With city takeovers across Rome, Naples, Seoul, Changsha, Singapore, Bangkok and beyond. He's now preparing for Macao, the city's biggest artistic takeover of all time, featuring permanent large-scale steel sculptures, giant inflatables and a museum show. But in case you don't know who Philippe Colbert is, let's backtrack a little to where it all started. As a young boy growing up in the western spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, planet Earth, Scotland, a land of myths and mysterious instruments, poets and Highland berserkers, humorists and lobsters. More than a remembrance of the past, the lobster is a prefiguration of destiny. It's been a muse and an obsession for centuries. Most notably for artists like Pablo Picasso and Salvador Dali. And now, with such collective energy, the power of the lobster spirit to create art inspires Colbert to transform into a lobster himself. And so, Philippe Colbert's alter ego, the Lobster, was born. The Lobster burst onto the scene in 2017, when Charles Saatchi installed Colbert's first painting show at Saatchi Gallery, his infamous space in the heart of London. Colbert proclaimed, "I became an artist when I became a lobster." In these large-scale oil-on-canvas works, Colbert is fully transformed as a lobster character, narrating the viewer through hyper-pop reflections of contemporary culture. These bold, large-scale works pulsate with energy. After the Saatchi exhibition, more shows quickly followed, and demand in Asia surged. From paintings to sculptures, the lobster's world blew up.
I think of myself as a hyper-pop artist. I also think of myself as a cartoon lobster.
The obsession with the lobster began to grow, and soon everyone wanted a piece of it.
I remember the first time I saw his work, I was so excited. How can people not love Philippe Colbert's work? Look at it.
A rising tide of lobster followers rolled in, artists, musicians, visionaries, all drawn into his bizarre orbit. Icons like David Hockney and John Baldessari felt the ripple, as well as actors Tomo Yamashita and Bilkin, and K-pop stars including Sundara Park, Treasure and Psy.
I got this. Ah!
The lobster expanded, stretching its claws across the globe. It took over the world's most prestigious museums, including the National Archaeological Museum in Naples, Italy, as well as showing alongside contemporary masters such as Yayoi Kusama, Namjoon Paik, and Takashi Murakami. But it didn't stop there. Collaborations with global brands such as Adidas, Disney, Bentley, Montblanc, Christian Louboutin, Asus, Popmart, Johnny Walker, and even one of Europe's most legendary football teams, AS Roma. Colbert also collaborated with his favorite band growing up, the legendary new wave band Devo, mixing art and music and the metaverse. And now, back in London, the Lobster is planning his trip to Macao.
Hello?
Hello, London. This is Dr. Wong from Macao calling. I want you to come immediately. We're ready.
Cannot wait to share them. Yes, lots of love from London. Bye.
The Lobsters have arrived, the Pearl of the Orient, known for its unique blend of Portuguese and Chinese influences, rich history, and vibrant entertainment scenes. Hosts Philip Colbert's latest city takeover.
We're in Macao for my city takeover. It's the largest artist takeover of the city
ever in the history of the city, which is quite cool. I'm working with Sands China and the Cultural Bureau here to create the takeover. So a city takeover is basically, like, in my mind, like a new type of artistic phenomenon. What's crazy about this particular one is we're like doing interventions all over the city. It really is like probably the biggest show I've ever done in terms of just multiple locations all at once. Normally when I do a takeover, it's like in one central city location, creating an immersive like experience around one area, but in this case, we've chosen like multiple areas across the city, so it's like pushing the boundaries of what is art and how people can experience art. Ambitiously, in a way, create artistic experience on a scale never seen. Yeah, so the idea of like city takeovers is something that I've been doing for a few years. So we have like a giant Lobster submarine, which is 25-meter inflatable, which is on the sea by the science center. Actually pulling off large-scale inflatables on the water is very difficult, and there's actually only been a few people that have really even done it in the past. So here we are at the Macao Science Center. I've just arrived for my Lobster submarine installation, my largest sculptural inflatable in my Macao show. I particularly love this work because the idea of it was I was traveling from London to Macao in my yellow submarine and I've just arrived. I think there is something definitely primarily optimistic about the color yellow. For me, it's exactly the spirit of my art. It's comical, thoughtful, funny. So for me, the submarine was somehow quite connected, something that was a real pop culture icon. So we're walking from the yellow submarine Lobster to my museum exhibition at the Dot Museum. We're here in the Cultural Centre, one of the most iconic museum spaces in Macau, where I'm doing my exhibition. This exhibition, I've got a selection of different works from my flower series to battle series, and some shaped canvases and some steel sculptures and marble. Part of this process of art historical dialogue, I abstracted it and almost made it into a toy, a three-dimensional toy, this very heightened sense of like a toy battle, almost like a productified historical master scene. I'm actually not interested in the violence within the pictures, I'm much more interested in this elevating of the moment. We're on the way to the firecracker factory where I have my 4-meter steel sculpture, permanent sculpture for the city has just been installed. A serious piece of steel sculpture that. AJ, can you tell me the significance of the firecracker factory for the city?
Firecracker industry was one of the largest industries in Macau in the past. We exported to a lot of different countries. This is one of the oldest factories that we have. Working with Philip, we've created this fabulous idea of creating a new sculpture tailor-made basically for the venue, right?
Yeah.
I'm very happy it's going to be on permanent display here at the Firecracker Factory. We also have some interactive games for kids. We're doing some press interviews here. Hopefully it brings lots of great energy to the city.
And now we're in Paris, or the Parisian Hotel to be more precise, where my lobster sculpture, The Painter, has been installed at the foot of the Eiffel Tower. I love how the aerial view captures Paris, Venice and London all in one lobster triangle, with The Painter in the middle. Macao really is the ultimate pop capital of the world, an open canvas, an ever-growing collage of cities, styles and cut-and-paste architecture, and now lobsters.
I love the old church bell. So nice. We're here at the Taipa Houses. It's a really iconic spot in Macau. I find this spot incredibly beautiful and very nostalgic of old world in Macau. The sculptures also have this great backdrop of the city behind. You can see also I made a very unique special sculpture for Macau, which is the lobster cockle sculpture installed by the first Taipa house. It's really like a window into old Portuguese Macau. It is really beautiful here. I mean, old world Macau looking at new world Macau opposite. So we're in Venice. I'm very excited. I love Venice. We're not in the Venice you might think. We're actually the Venetian.
Welcome to Italy.
The crux, the cathedral, the perfect location to tell the story. All fantasy can be reality, and that is for me the job of an artist, the role of blurring that distinction. This production, this creation is a painting. Is this life we experience real, or is this life an illusion? As a lobster, I feel deeply connected to mortality. The lobster is a red symbol of mortality since antiquity. Perhaps I'm attracted to this question of life, the realness or the fakeness. Is this just illusion? Is art just illusion? Can we penetrate beyond? We are here today in Venice, in the Venetian. The phenomenon is real, yet we see the limitations. I love Macau because it really is like a fantastical city. If art is illusion, then Macau is the city of illusion. As a city, I think that it's really got a lot of potential as an artistic center. But as an artist, I think one needs to take creative risk. I do find this analogy of like taking risk quite interesting, because I've often thought that being an artist is all about like being all in. Today is the day. It's the big project unveiling day. Everyone will be gathered to basically launch the project.
I feel very lucky as an artist that I get to travel with my work and connect with people from different parts of the world. I really believe in the poetry of art as a tool to connect people, to urge dialogue and build bridges, to energize, to empower, to bring optimism, conversation. The joy of art is universal in that sense. From my first trip to Macau, I felt a connection to the city, so it's been a profound experience to be able to use it as a backdrop for this exhibition.
3, 2, 1!
Art isn't just about what we create, but where it belongs. And since Macau is a place of energy, of dreams, and surreal spectacle, what better place could there be to celebrate the spirit of art and the lobster with the world? I like the idea that these lobster sculptures will live in Macau. Among the lights, the water, and the history, they have found another place to exist, to bring colour, to bring energy, and hopefully confuse a few people along the way. If art is an illusion, then Macao is the pop art capital. It's like a 1960s pop collage work of various different architectural styles from iconic cities around the world, all combined into one mega pop city. It's kind of like the dreamland state when you're drifting off but still awake, teetering between fantasy and reality. And you ask yourself, did that really just happen? Except in Macao, it always just did. I can't think of a better place to explore the boundaries of artistic expression.